we will go ahead and start our meeting with a roll call.
Foley. Present. Mr. Munoz.
Present.
Dr. Bonebrake.
Here.
Mrs. Schmidt.
Present.
Dr. Schumacher.
Also present.
Mr. Tatum.
Here.
And Dr. Beeson is joining
Remotely.
exec session for sure. So I'm counting her in.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will move. We will be having 2 executive sessions. So we will, I'll look for a motion for our first one.
All right, Mr. President, I move the Board of Education of USD 501 recess into executive session for 10 minutes to discuss a student discipline appeal to protect the privacy of the individual student being discussed pursuant to the exception relating to the actions affecting a student under the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The board will return to open session in the boardroom at 5:42 p.m. The superintendent, board attorney, and leadership staff are invited into executive session.
Is there a second for that motion? Ms. Boley? Any discussion? Okay, we'll vote on that.
I will count her not present at vote, and all votes are in. The motion carries. Now you realize this means none of us can eat technically.
Right. You your microphone. Grab something, bring it right back up. I got it.
Okay, we are back to move into the second part of our executive session. So I'll look for a motion.
Mr. President, I move the Board of Education of USD 501 Topeka Public Schools recess into executive session for 20 minutes to discuss confidential personnel matters to protect the privacy of the individuals being discussed pursuant to the personnel exception under the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The board will return to open session in the boardroom at 6:04 PM. The superintendent and leadership team are invited into executive session.
Is there a second for that? Dr. Bonebrake, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll vote by hand. So all in favor of the motion? And
Motion
anybody
carries
opposed?
unanimously.
Great, thank you.
We're just gonna hold.
Do you have the motion to continue?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
just,
we
the
read it.
motion is to continue, extend our motion discussing confidential personnel matters, protect the privacy of the individuals discussed pursuant to the Personnel Exception Act and the Kansas Open Meetings Act to extend executive session for 10 minutes to be finished at 6:15.
And a second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Taylor. And then all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, thank you.
Minutes.
The board has just extended the executive session for 10 more minutes.
We are back. Thank you all for your patience. We will move on to our next item, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. And so maybe if our student of the month can come up and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, if you go up to this microphone. And then, yep, you can go ahead
Okay.
and start.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we will continue to move so we can get back to our senior of the month. But next we'll need to adopt the agenda. So I'll just look for a motion.
Mr. President, I move the board adopt the agenda as presented.
Is there a second on that motion? Dr. Bonebreak? Any discussion on the agenda? If not, we'll look for a vote.
Is Dr. Beasley? Okay. All votes are in and the motion carries.
Thank you. Next up, we have school highlights. Dr. Anderson's not quite in yet. She's coming, but maybe we can get the video ready and watch our video for our senior of the month. We did it already without you. Yes, I did. Dr. Anderson, I've done this before. Have some faith. So we'll start with the video and then turn it over to Dr. Anderson.
Hi, my name is Lily Bowen and I'm a senior at Topeka West High School. I think Topeka West is special to me because it's really made me develop into the person that I am. With all the activities and the clubs that are available, it really changed me to be a more mature person and become the leader that I am.
So Lily's the kind of student that makes Topeka West a better place. She's kind of come out of her shell and really blossomed into an energetic, positive person that just truly represent what it means to be a Charger.
Lily is great. She has been a member of our dance team for 4 years now, and she is someone that you just love to watch perform. She exudes energy, bright and early up at 6 a.m. and performing until the end of the fourth quarter of the game that night.
Lily is an amazing student and she is super dependable, which I really love about her. When we're doing anything as a group, she tries to include every single person. She genuinely cares what everyone else says. She cares about school spirit. She's involved.
I look at pictures of myself from freshman year and I think, who is that girl? I can just express myself in different ways. When I come here, I feel very comfortable with my group of friends and all of the teachers and everyone. It's just very welcoming, I feel like.
She is someone that can find the bright in any situation, and if there isn't any bright in that situation, she can bring some brightness to that situation.
She constantly demonstrates excellence. She's dedicated to being the best version of herself, and the other students see that.
After high school, I plan to attend a college somewhere outside of Topeka. I'm still undecided on my major. I have some inklings with like criminal justice and also business school, but never know.
I feel like whatever Lily chooses to do, she's going to be successful just because she's so positive. It just shows that the more involved you are in high school, the better off you're going to be and the better off you're going to do.
Just keep being yourself, Lily. You are great, and you will find the place that you belong, and you will make an impact in someone's life. You've done that for the last 4 years here at Topeka West, and I have no doubt that you will do that again in the future.
Thank you for letting me have my awkward moments and also have me have my crying moments, because that's what life's about, is truly the ups and downs, but it's how they helped me through that. I can do the things that I dreamed of when I was like a little kid.
Join us in applauding Miss Bowen. Come on up, and the principal from Topeka West. You are exceptional. I know that your principal has a few words to say, but Lily Bowen, you are the November Senior of the Month. We congratulate you. And that video will be going viral, so it gets posted tonight. But you are an exceptional young lady, and we'll turn it over to our principal.
Yeah, keep standing. Dr. Anderson, President Schumacher, and board members, thank you again for this opportunity to recognize another outstanding Topeka West Charger, or I guess even 501 senior. Lily Bowen, like was mentioned in the video, is just an outstanding representation of what it means to be a Charger. So we really appreciate that about her. You know, she's involved in so many different things across the spectrum at Topeka West, and it just goes to show every kid that we come up here and talk about just about as Senior of the Month is involved in so many different things, and it just goes towards a well-rounded student. And like I said, Lily really embodies that Charger spirit. So we're really proud to recognize her today, and we got you a little gift there, so you might take a peek in there, and then I'll turn it over to Lily. So I know she's undecided about which school she wants to go to, but Miss Allen and I are really encouraging her to go to OU because we're both OU fans. But I know she's interested in mechanical engineering too. She didn't say that in the video, but mechanical engineering, she wants to be an F1 on the F1 team and designing race cars. So that's kind of her dream. So we got her a little F1 car in there too. So with no further ado, Lily.
Hello. Hi. Okay.
Lily, we get to ask you questions now. Yay! So I'm gonna look down the board. Yes, Ms. Boley.
Oh, there.
Welcome. We are so excited for you. Your video just tells us so much about you, and I've watched you dance. It was correct that you do draw the attention from the crowd when you're out there. Your performance skills are amazing. I've enjoyed them very much. My first question is, I'll have two.
Gotcha.
My first question is, would you mind introducing your parents? Because evidently they did a really awesome job.
Yes. Okay. This is Jenny Payne Bowen.
Hi.
And then this is his birth name is Franklin Thurman Bowen Jr. Yes. Yes.
Nice job, parents. I just the pride on your face is just so enjoyable to watch. So my next question is, through all of your education, what are the teachers that supported and encouraged you the most that you can remember to talk about?
Definitely Mr. Stevens from McCarter Elementary. I had him for 3rd and 5th grade. And especially during like middle school years, you're a kid, you have to learn stuff that you don't really want to learn. You just want to get to recess. But he really made me want to learn. And also we started like a tiny algebra unit, and that really like made me love math and stuff, getting to learn it so young and like a complicated version of it. Middle school, I would say probably Miss Neal. She was my 6th grade science teacher, and man, oh man, 6th grade is just an awkward year for everyone. And she truly made us transition into a young teenager. Young, not an adult yet, but a teenager. And we truly need those supports, especially during middle school, because we're going through puberty, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And then in high school, I would say Miss Allen. And I would also say Miss Ho and Miss Davis, who were in the video, because I know that I could go to them with anything and they would help me, because you really need support when learning what you need to do in your real life, for colleges, for scholarships, whatever. You need those emotional supports, and they were really there for me. So yeah.
Well, we really want to thank those teachers for being such a support for you. We just have amazing staff in Topeka 501, and I'm so glad they touched your life.
Yes.
Thank you for
Round
being
of
here
applause
tonight.
for them because they're here.
Mr. Tatum.
our district just excellent in terms of what our students can accomplish and the good things that 501 students are doing. So, well, first of all, I want to tell you that I can tell you that getting the recess doesn't go away. The drive to get the recess. I've been in graduate school. I'm in seminary now. The drive to get done and get to that recess never goes away. But I hope that you find energy in between those recess times to be able to give you the motivation to keep moving forward. And it certainly sounds like you've got some pretty significant goals ahead of you. At one point, you said you might go into business management or you might go into criminal justice, but now we're hearing something about Formula One racing.
Yes.
Where did that come into the equation?
Well, I've always loved the movies. The Formula One movies, they just interest me in something. I've always wanted to know like the why on certain things, like why does it work? Why does this F1 team keep winning? And especially I just want to be a part of the why. Like I want to be the reason why a team is so good. I want to be the reason why they win a championship, etc. And I feel like being a mechanical engineer or a technical director for F1 would make me accomplish that and make me be a part of the reason. And I love solving problems. So if we have a problem with the car, I'll be able to resolve that and then make our team better as a whole.
All right. Well, all those professions, no matter what you do, it heavily involves problem solving. So all the best to you, Lily, and hope we hear some really great things about you going forward.
Thank you so much.
Other questions? Dr. Bonebrake.
Lily, when you walk into the room, it just lights up. And I don't imagine you've had major setbacks. If these happen, however, I think you have the talent, ability, endurance, and persistence that you can learn from that, go on and be stronger for it. I wish you well in whatever endeavor you choose. I usually suggest medical school, but Dr. Stewart. So best wishes in everything you do.
Thank you so much.
Mrs. Schmidt.
So as adults, we always sit and reminisce what our 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old selves would go back and tell our younger selves. So as a senior, what would you go back and tell yourself, or what advice might you give to freshmen?
Live life to the fullest and be involved. Because you really got to realize we got one life. We got to live it to the fullest, and you can't be scared to try an opportunity, to try a club, to try an AP class, to do whatever you need to do. You can't be scared. You can't hold yourself back. You just have to show and be the best person you can be. So then when you go to bed at night, you can be like, I did that, and I keep doing that, and I'm doing great at it.
I think you're being very true to your advice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lily, I just have one quick question
Yes.
about your favorite Formula One team.
Okay.
What is your favorite Formula?
I would say Ferrari or McLaren.
Yeah, McLaren's the best. So
Yes.
that's the right answer. Thank you, Lily, for coming today. It was a pleasure learning about you. We're very proud of you. And it seems like whatever you want to do, you will do fine with support from your family, support from the staff that's helped you, and hopefully support from us. If you want to go to medical school, you just ask Dr. Bonebrake and he'll
I got you.
help you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you guys too as well.
Is that
Yes.
Bowen versus Ferrari?
And we ask that you stay around for about 5 minutes for a photo. And now we're going to call up the Jardine team. Every year there's an ALS walk. They're raising money for ALS. Dr. Stegman is the inspiration behind all of this. And I believe Ms. Pomeroy, or one of our team members, will share a little bit about that. And they have a check for ALS. So good stuff. We'll turn it over to Jardine.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Anderson, and thank you, Board of Education members, for having us here tonight. As many of you may know, we have 4 years strong. We just had our 4th annual Steps for Stegman 5K event that we hosted last May. So this has become an annual event that we put on in May, started 4 years ago. This is a completely run Jardine staff 5K that we put together. And I say that with our captain, Dr. Stegman is actually at the helm of making sure that it's an amazing event every year. But we unfortunately could not present the check last year. So this is a 2-year total that we're going to present tonight to the ALS Association, the Mid-America chapter. That is who our donations go to every year upon request from Dr. Stegman. And so she's got her family here. We have representatives from the ALS Association here, and we would like to present a check tonight. Yep. So our 2-year total, $8,687.42. And that brings, yes. And that brings our 4-year total to $19,852 since we started doing this event 4 years ago. So I don't know if you have any questions for us or the team.
Yeah, any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Tatum?
So, Ms. Pomeroy, just to be clear,
Yeah.
we didn't do this last year? It's been 2 years since
It's been 2 years since we presented our check. We've had the 5K every year, but we
see.
didn't make it to present the 3rd annual
Okay,
check last year. So this is a 2-year total. This is from 2 years ago
Okay.
and last year.
Okay, it
Yes.
feels like you guys were just here
That
last
we
year.
were just here doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I know, yes. We missed presenting last.
I enjoy when you guys come in and that Dr. Stegman is able to be honored in this way, and the whole team just contributes to this success. And of course, you know, we're very proud of everyone who donated. So it is important that we see you guys do this every year. So I will pay attention next year to make sure that you guys are here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments or, yeah, Ms. Bully?
I just wanted to thank the Stegman family for doing this every year to raise fund. It's been so much fun to watch your daughter grow up and watch her husband's hairstyle change. But it is just amazing what you've done. The amounts to the organization is, it's impressive. And so I just thank you for taking that time. Instead of focusing just on yourselves, you are focusing on family of ALS. And we appreciate that. It's just a really amazing thing that you're doing. So thank you all. Thanks for everybody who participates too. Woo!
Yeah. Mr. Munoz?
Just going to ask if the Stegman family might sort of share your thoughts on what it means to have so much support locally for yourself and for this cause.
Yeah, I mean, this is been a special event, you know, 4th year. I think we'll keep it going as long as we can. So it does mean a lot, you know, to see everybody out there supporting Bridget and ALS. So it's a touching, you know, moment out there. A lot of times I'm holding back tears. So it means a lot. And I know everyone in the family definitely appreciates it. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Any other? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
All right, Dr. Stegman, we love you. And that's something she's so inspiring that years ago, thinking that we'd still be here and gaining so much in dollars. We're going to get a quick photo for both of these. Later, when you get to consent, there's going to be something about Ross. I said, wait a minute, we got about the awesome Rossum team here. And so the music garden is under the consent agenda. Normally we do that first and then superintendent's report. Would you all indulge for just a very brief second so that I can have Dr. Gardner come up to mention that? So when you're approving that under consent, you know what that is. Dr. Gardner, do you want to come up briefly to mention what and introduce who can come up to talk about the music garden? All right, Dr. Gardner, and then we're going to stop and take a photo right after we learn a little bit about the Ross Music Garden and the tremendous amount of funds that they raised.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson, Board of Education. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to highlight our wonderful PTO who is here tonight. 4 years ago, when I started at Ross, they approached me with this music garden. And honestly, I thought, wow, that's quite a lofty goal. But knowing this group, their dedication and commitment, and more important, their heart for Ross, it became a reality if it gets approved tonight. So I'm going to introduce Robin, who will kind of tell a little bit more about the music garden.
Thank you, Dr. Gardner. Thank you, President Schumacher, members of the board, and Superintendent Anderson. Dr. Gardner mentioned 4 years ago, and this was actually a pretty special, ambitious seed that started in 2019 when my kiddo started kindergarten. And if you remember, that was the year that COVID changed all of our lives. And the music garden was definitely an aspirational, wild dream that came as a result of Ross Elementary being the signature music school for USD 501, and realizing that there wasn't anything exemplary yet that kind of made that special. So realizing that a music garden that we might see at the Discovery Center, Engage Park, or other play areas for kiddos could cost tens of thousands of dollars. And knowing our community and our neighborhood, it was a pipe dream, but something that just always kind of lingered in the back of my brain. I want to give a special shout out to a couple of PTO members here with me tonight, Juna and Mike Green, who I met when, yes, indeed. These two fabulous humans were integral to just me joining PTO, knowing that in our neighborhood and in public education, this PTO is one of those special things that we get to do as parents. And they have been the backbone to PTO since then, and still as grandparents in our community. Anyway, a couple of years after COVID had its effect, we decided to reintroduce the carnival in the Ross community. And that seemed like a feat in itself when you know our neighborhood and trying to figure out the best way to get family engagement and turnout, and wanting to make sure that families are able to attend no matter what their budget might be. So we tried something different where we made the carnival as approachable as possible and keeping costs low. That was also, it was a magical reintroduction to carnival after COVID shut everything down for a couple of years. But I think one of the other components, the combination of then Mr. Gardner, but now Dr. Gardner being introduced to our community, really kind of set a new foundation for all of us to feel inspired, and that wild, wild dreams can come true. So within the last 4 years, some more community support poured in. I met an artist through our Noto Arts community who inspired a local idea instead of an industrial music garden that we might see in catalogs. So about a year and a half ago, we had conversations and consultations with artists in Noto who helped us realize that this could actually come true in a kind of a bespoke, one-of-a-kind sculpture. And we decided to run with that and presented ideas in the community. And a year later, we have $16,000+ that we raised with partnerships with Scent and Fellowship Highcrest, as well as, oh my gosh. That's right, Noto Arts Connect in Noto. Plus we have a fabulous partnership with AJ Hopper, who has graciously donated time and found partnerships for the cement work and foundations for safety for this project. All of this to say, Ross Elementary and the kiddos that are served through this fabulous school are deserving of this really neat, special, one-of-a-kind experience. They're going to be able to go out onto this playground when it's installed and unveiled next spring and play on this sculpture, make music, explore what that feels like, instead of, I don't know, finding outlets that are less inclined to inspire. Music lifts up and it inspires all of us. It can change our souls. So if this is one aspect of childhood that Ross Elementary students can explore and make memories, we're just excited that we get to do it for them.
Yeah, we might want to ask questions, so don't run away. Are there any questions or comments from the, yes, Mrs. Schmidt?
I just have a comment. I think, come back up to the podium. This makes my heart so happy because I often feel like our kiddos on the east side of town don't always have the same opportunities or the unique experiences that other kids do. And so that you guys have had this idea and have run with it and are creating something for these kids that nobody else is going to have. It is just going to be phenomenal.
You're giving me goosebumps.
You're
all
giving me
over again.
goosebumps. So I think this is, you guys deserve multiple rounds of applause for this. Make sure that you invite the board when you guys do the unveiling so that we can be there and that we can see the looks on their faces and celebrate right alongside with you guys. Good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes, Ms. Boley.
I just wanted to, well, you're all incredible, but I wanted to give a huge shout out to the Greens. They really are the grandparents in the neighborhood because they don't have any students, any grandchildren at Ross anymore. But they continue to donate their time. They continue to flip pancakes. They continue to do carnival. They continue to be part of Ross because they love Ross. And we appreciate people that donate just from our community like that. So much time and effort in making these dreams come true, along with these remarkable young people that I'm sure you're so glad to have and the leadership. So thank you all. This is so exciting. And please, please invite us. It's just a remarkable thing what you've done. And thank you for spending so much time and effort. And it's a lot of effort to raise that kind of money for the students at Ross Elementary. You're amazing and you'll be remembered for a very long time. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll take a break for pictures.
All right, our senior of the month, come on up. And following that will be the Jardine family, Dr. Stegman and her family and team. And then we'll have the awesome Rossum staff come on up after that and families. Congratulations.
Move this. Yep, I'm good right here. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3.
No, they haven't gone there yet. They just want to hear about it.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Anderson, for those. So we will, first we'll look at public communications. Great, thank you. And we will move to the consent, which includes that donation from the PTO to Ross. I'm just looking for a motion.
Mr. President, I move the board approve the items of business by consent as presented, minus the supplemental personnel report dated 11/6, and authorize the board president or superintendent to sign the special project and purchasing contracts for and on behalf of the board.
Is there a second? Mr. Tatum. Are there questions or discussion on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to a vote with that motion. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ross. So I'll turn it back over to Dr. Anderson for the superintendent's report.
All right, as we prepare for our graduation report, we're so excited. Graduation results have come in and we have increased beyond what we've ever increased in the last several years. Dr. Kipp is coming up. As that PowerPoint comes up, Dr. Kipp will share a little bit about the graduation rates at each of our schools in addition to the overall percentage movement. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kipp.
Thank you. Good evening. As Mr. Reinert pulls that up, yeah, like Dr. Anderson mentioned, we are pretty excited about the movement, continued growth in our graduation rates. So I'm excited to share the news of the hard work of all of our principals and high school associates. It's just incredible the work that they're doing there. So we'll go ahead and dive into it. We'll slide to the next slide, please. And this is just a reminder of how they calculate the graduation rate. You know, the common misconception is you have 500 freshmen, you expect 500 freshmen or seniors to graduate, but that's not how the state calculates the graduation rate. It's a cohort rate. I will mention they did make a couple of changes this year. Kids that transferred to homeschool no longer count as a dropout. So they're recognizing homeschools as a legitimate source of education in the state. Okay, next slide. Okay, here's the overall rate of our district graduation for the last 16 years. You'll see that we had a little dip last year at 81.6, and now we're back up to a district graduation rate of 87.3%. And that is back up from where we were in 2023. I think the interesting thing is also to recognize that this graduating class were seventh graders during the midst of COVID. And so we've moved those kiddos up. They adapted and were agile enough and made it all the way across that stage. So next slide. And inversely, the state also looks at a 5-year rate, and you'll see a little drop in there simply because we had more kids graduating in that 4-year period. Now, when we look school by school, I always like to look and, for context, compare it to the national and Kansas rates. So the dark blue line is the national rate of 87% graduation rate. Kansas is currently at 89.5, and all 5 of our schools are above that Kansas and national rate for the first time in history.
Dr. Kipp, could I interrupt you for a moment?
I guess.
Question?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can we go back a slide and could you explain that 5-year and the drop a little bit more to me?
Absolutely. So the state looks at, some of our kids don't necessarily get it done in 4 years. For example, maybe some kids at Cap City, they can stay till they're 21 in order to get their diploma. And so the drop is actually a good thing for the 5-year rate because inversely, our 4-year rate went up. So we have fewer kids graduating in 5 years and more kids graduating in 4 years.
Thank you.
that clarify?
That helps me a lot.
Okay.
These are our 5-year graduating.
Right.
Ones that didn't make it in the 4-year period.
Correct. And the state only
understand
recognizes the 4-year rate
Yes.
for accountability.
Thank you for that time.
You
I
bet.
appreciate that.
And so as we look school by school, Highland Park, had a pretty steady, I'm on Highland Park, yeah. Highland Park had a pretty steady increase. They did decrease about 1.1% from last year. This is still the second highest rate in Highland Park's school history. So I'm not too concerned that that little blip will increase next year. They're on a pretty solid trajectory upwards. Topeka High had a 1.3% increase from last year. This is the second highest graduation rate in Topeka High history. As we move to Topeka West, Topeka West is coming back from a 91.1 dip from last year to all the way, 3 years ago, to a 95.2% graduation rate. And you'll see towards the end of the presentation, there were some really islands of excellence at Topeka West that I want to touch on. Hope Street, kind of one of our alternative schools that, kids that maybe are credit deficient or got behind in credits. It's a wonderful charter school that we have to get them caught up. And obviously this data reflects that. 93.2% is the highest graduation rate in Hope Street's history. Yeah. Cap City, as we mentioned before, Cap City, it's difficult for some of these kids to graduate in that 4-year time frame, but they are working hard to ensure those kids make that mark in the 4-year cohort. There's a lot of variability up and down because Cap City really graduates anywhere between 10 to 15 kids a year. But again, a graduation rate of 90% is nothing to sneeze at. They're definitely on a great trajectory, great leadership over there at Cap City. And we always bring up the gender gap. Apparently girls are more motivated and smarter than boys, is what my wife tells me. But this year, nationwide, there's a 7% gap between males and females in every state in the union. This year, we have about a 6% gap between boys and girls, which is less than the nation's graduation gap in gender. We also graduated more females than males. We had 493 females graduate and 448 males graduate. It's always important to look through the lens of race and equity. The African American and Hispanic rates on that very far right chart, you can kind of see the orange and the purple. The orange is African American, purple is Hispanic, and then the darker color is the Caucasian or white population. This is actually one of the more balanced in terms of equity across graduation rates and in years. This really indicates a strong closure of that equity gap that exists nationwide. Okay. Subgroups, always important to look at, the more marginalized groups such as the free lunch. This is absolutely free lunch. If we include free lunch, they came in at 84.6% graduation rate. If we did include the reduced in there, it jumps to 86%. Special ed, this is one of the highlights. This is the highest special ed graduation rate in the history of Topeka Public Schools at 83.8%. So kudos to all the special ed teachers, paras, staff like that, getting these kids across the finish line. EL grad rates have kind of been on the decline the last couple of years, but not to be worried. We actually starting to have a decrease in the number of ELLs in the district. So it's a commensurate drop to the enrollment and obviously the kids that are graduating in that regard. But 85.7 is very respectable for ELLs. So just to summarize some of the highlights, 941 graduates as opposed to 838. We graduated 103 more kids in 2025 than we did the year before. Again, all 5 high schools had graduation rates above the Kansas and national rates. We mentioned the equity and these little tidbits, the 100% graduation rate for Topeka West Black and multiracial students, 100%. Whatever Mr. Buckendorf's doing over there is working. And Topeka High also had 100% graduation rate in their growing multiracial demographic, which is wonderful as well. And finally, I mentioned the historic graduation and special ed rates. And with that, I will take any questions or feedback that you might have. I think we do have one more slide in terms of some of the strategies that we've implemented. No, it's not in there. Okay.
Well, and I believe the principals came. They have representatives here so that if you do have questions from T High and T West, and so they certainly are here to speak to strategies that they feel like have been successful.
Mr. Tatum.
So I have well, first of all, I'm still reeling on the high points of the information contained in this presentation, Dr. Kipp, between the SPED graduation rates, Hope Street, and Topeka High having the second highest graduation rate in history, which I was like overjoyed. And then I said, wait a second, I'm a Topeka High graduate. My class would have been one of those that have been compared to these graduation classes, but we can still celebrate the successes of other classes from Topeka High and the other high schools here in Topeka Public Schools. So my question is a math question. So back on slide number 3, it shows that the 4-year rate for district graduation, according to the chart, was 87.3% in 2025.
Correct.
Right. But when you go a couple of slides later to slide number 5, it shows our graduation are between Hope Street, Cap City, Highland Park, Topeka High, and Topeka West. It lists what their graduation rates are for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't crunch the numbers, but in just kind of doing a mean in my mind, the average should come out somewhere to 93%, which is not the 87.3% listed on slide 3. So what am I missing here?
Yep. You're absolutely missing the rates at Avondale West, like Avondale Academy and the Topeka Virtual.
Okay.
Those rates.
So
are included in the district.
those rates would have brought the average down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Moving forward, it might be a good idea to include that information, or at least maybe a blurb about which schools are missing, so that the data makes sense mathematically. Okay.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Yep. We'll
Thank
do that.
you.
We'll do that.
Other questions for Dr. Kemp? Yes, Mr. Munoz.
You always 100% might be with, too high, but what do we, as we look at these numbers and we sort of begin to reflect on the work and opportunity that exists, what are some of the things that we're sort of discussing that we might be able to do to sort of make some progress on that? We might not reach, 100%, but what are the things that our schools are doing to help sort of
And they're coming
that
forward
dial.
now, Topeka High, Topeka West.
That's great,
and then
thank you.
Ms. Riley's here as well. So starting with Topeka West, can you share some of the strategies, particularly with that 100% number for some of your students, for both of you, but overall, what's the
Sure.
top 2 strategies? And then Ms. Riley, can you speak to that?
Sure. As we talked about before in years past with our graduation rate, we're always just looking to make sure we're getting our kids where they need to be pathway wise. If a kid's interested in trying to find their interests, where their interests lie, and get them in that pathway and get them that much more involved in school. I think that really is a big part of what we're doing, and making sure every kid lands where they need to. Whether it's TCalc, Washburn Tech, Hope Street, all the different alternative schools in our district, just to make sure that they are at a place that fits them best. That's good.
Hi. Yes, I would agree that having the individual plans of studies to help students look at where their strengths are, where their interests are, to get them connected to a path that they would like to look into is very important, but also connecting kids to school, connecting them to our staff, to our people, to our clubs, sports, organizations, because the more they're connected, the more they will value it. So those are ways that we can move forward. But when we first were talking about this, another part of our graduation rate is being able to track every student that enters our doors when they come in as 9th graders, and track them even though they leave us, and to follow them. And so that does take quite a bit of time once the state releases that graduation report, is then tracking down all those students. So we have to keep very accurate records on every single student.
That's one of the items we're going to mention, the data consults that we have, they each
Right.
have data scorecards. They go over that every week. They know where every student is. Highland Park, I don't think they're here right now, but they also have that spreadsheet where they know who showed up, who didn't, and why. That's a key change that we've made over time, and it gets stronger every year in terms of making sure kids stay connected as opportunities increase.
I would also mention in the exhaustive work of our counselors, we meet with every student as seniors a couple times within their senior year to track what their interests are. We do that all through their 4 years. We meet with every student, and they sit down and ask them where their interests lie. And so by the time they become seniors, we have a senior spreadsheet that we track down to every last credit, or every last class that they need to complete in order to graduate, and make sure that they're in those correct courses. And so there's quite a bit of work that goes into it from our counseling staff, or just all across the whole school. There are people involved in getting these kids, some of them more than others, dragging them across the line, making sure that they're getting what they need. But there's just a lot of work that goes into that from our staffs.
Mrs. Boley.
I just so appreciate all that work, because I know it's really hard work. What do you think the stumbling blocks are for our males that aren't making it over when you are meeting with these students, trying to figure out what their direction is? What do you think that challenge is for our male population that can't seem to maybe perform as well as the other females. I mean, in my head, I know why, because I'm a female, but but you know, what are our concerns there, and what is it that we should be looking at from your interviews?
Go ahead.
Well, again, we really try to reach kids where they are. So maybe providing more supports, learning more about how they learn and how they can be successful in the classroom. And really, connection is so important.
So is it family need, maybe the students need to go to work? Because I'm, you know, focusing on that male population. Is there something that's drawing them away that we can figure out how to help them more?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Dr. Kipp was talking about our subgroups and our graduation rates within our subgroups. I poured over some of that data the last week or so, and just looking at it, if you look at our data, we have 100% graduation rate in our multicultural students, 100% graduation rate in our African-American students. It was 100% in our Asian students, 100% in our Native Americans. And our lowest subgroup was Hispanic males. And I feel like a lot of those kids, I think it was even close to 100% in Hispanic females. It was 98%, I think, in Hispanic females. And it's just our Hispanic males. And I think some of what you mentioned is, you know, having to go to work for the family. I know a couple of those kids for sure that we lost along the way were working and having to work full time in order to help support their family. So that's part of the problem. But again, we just need to continue to try to find where their interests lie and try to make sure that we're getting them into those pathways that are what they're interested in. So, I mean, that's our challenge, and that's where we're going to focus our attention for sure.
Is there any way that we're looking on how we can support the family better so we can keep that student in school? I mean, I know that that's something that happens quite a bit in elementary. We find ways to wrap around those families. Is that even a consideration in high school, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a consideration. We have resources available to us that we put into their lives as much as we can. But again, some of it's just, I have to work, and I've got to put in 40, 50, 60 hours a week in order to help my family make ends meet. So I don't know that there's a whole lot we can do around that. But again, we're definitely looking at things we can do in order to increase our Hispanic male population graduation rate for sure.
You know, we believe many of the strategies they're using has led to incremental improvements. So we have to remember that while it was even a larger gap 5 years ago, 6 years ago, interestingly, the Equity Council will be visiting the JDC, the Juvenile Correctional Facility. And the trend there is early on in middle school, and young men, as they lose engagement, their highest population is generally young men. And so we're studying that as well from that end in terms of what causes you to check out of school and at what age and when that happens. You know, this is a national trend. This isn't a Topeka issue, but a national issue. So we're excited that we're seeing continued improvements in closing that gap. So all the services they're providing and extended opportunities and career pathways, parent academies, resources, food banks. But at the same time, we know there are still some levers that need to be addressed that impact families: crime, poverty, single family, homelessness, all of those things. But the Equity Council, even if you're not on the Equity Council, we'll send out that date. So if you do want to visit, it's during the workday. I know Mr. Munoz, you've already been assigned a particular day. There are 2 days that they're going, and you're welcome to attend.
Thank you for all you're doing. I didn't mean to like throw water on the candles of celebration. I'm just, you know, I would love if we could pull every student over. I mean, that paper, just that simple paper, makes such a difference in their life. So I just am so amazed. Dr. Anderson, how long have you been here?
10 years.
10 years. So when we look at that data and see that upward trend, thank you for the efforts that you've put into that and helping our district understand how we can reach those students and go out there and make more success for them. So thank you for what you've been doing. It's just really hard lifting. And you guys have done it. My goodness, those rates are amazing. So happy for you.
Yeah. Dr. Bumbrick, did you still have?
Yes, for years I've had the question, what happens because our high schools have had twice as many freshmen as there are graduating seniors. And so I've been told, well, they just transfer. They transfer out. Okay, where do they transfer to? Is it because they're working at Sonic or what is happening? Because that's half the numbers. But it sounds like you're making a concerted effort to find out what they're doing, which I don't think 3 years ago was happening.
Well, I'll give you an example of Highland Park. This year, they graduated 192 seniors. 4 years ago, they had 211 freshmen. I wouldn't say that gap is too wide. But to your point, every district, every high school has this attrition and mobility. And so luckily the cohort formula accounts for that. If we were to use that rate that I just described, 192 graduates, 211 freshmen, Highland Park would only be at a 90% completion rate. And so, I mean, a lot can happen in 4 years. I mean, we have kids, unfortunately, that pass away, they get put in foster care, moved around. And so the formula is built such that it doesn't punish districts for that kind of mobility. But I understand your point. There is that discrepancy of attrition between freshmen and seniors, but yeah.
When my children were at Topeka High, there were 900 freshmen and 350 graduates.
Well, actually, it was 326 graduates this year at Topeka High, and it was 455 freshmen 4 years ago. I pulled these because I knew you were going to ask.
You ask it every year. So we said, let's make sure we have
20
facts.
I can tell you what they were 25
That
years
the
ago.
gap isn't as nearly as big as, we might think it is.
Well, and I'll give you.
So what did we do to decrease? Let's see, my last child was 2003. I think there were 850, 900 freshmen and 350 graduates.
Now, what year was that?
2003.
22 years ago.
2 years
But I've
ago.
only been there 10 years. So we can speak about the 10
Yeah.
years.
So what happened?
In terms of the decrease, now keep in mind, if you had 900 or so seniors at that time, and you think 9th grade through 12th grade, that's far more students than Topeka High has now. Topeka High now has over 1,000 students, less than 2,000. And so, we just, the numbers in terms of birth rate and the number of students in high school, we have fewer students to begin with. So that's the first piece. So when we talk about 300 to 400 graduates, or 300 to 400 freshmen, that's now what we have. There's no longer 900 freshmen and 400 graduates. You're going to have probably 300-400 freshmen every year, and that's pretty much been the case for most of the 10 years that I've been here.
Yeah.
Most of those students are graduating. Some may move out. Some may, as Dr. Kip shared, may have other transitions. But the gap is not that large between the freshman and the senior year. And we're getting better and better.
Well, and some kids go to alternate schools. Hope Street graduated 41 seniors. 4 years ago, they only had 9 freshmen.
Right. Now, those 41 seniors at Hope Street and the students at Cap City and the students at Avondale West, where did they come from? Topeka High, Topeka West, Highland Park. Their home school was a school that now has fewer students because those students were given a pathway that they could go to that wasn't their home school. So that does account for some of that.
The times they are changing. That's correct.
Yeah, we're excited about that question next year, Dr. Boneberg. We're going to come with that data though, because data does tell us fact and what's reality. So we're excited about the gap closing.
And just for a final, I know you wanted to know the single parent percentages in our district. You've been bringing
60.
60. Is that what your prediction is? Anybody else have a?
He brought that data too.
I brought that
thinking you'd
data
ask
just in
that
case you
question.
asked. 40% of our district is a single parent unit family.
That's down.
I guess that's a good thing. Yeah. So just, you bet.
Thank you. Yes.
Now, that really completes the graduation report unless there are additional questions. I don't believe we have any other items to add to that other than congratulating all of our board members. It's great to work with the same and alongside the same board and not to have any changes. We know you all, so stay there for like another 15 years.
Yeah.
And that's about the time that most of us may have retired by then. So another 15 years. The last board did it, so we're excited. Congratulations to all of you. We'll turn it
Thank
back
you.
over to you.
So we will move on to the action item, number 21, and I will look for a motion on that action item.
Mr. President, I move to uphold the hearing officer's decision of October 27th, 2025.
And a second for that. Dr. Bonebrake. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll vote on that. Thank you. And then I think we're at comments. So I will let Dr. Bonebrake start off.
Does anybody remember Fleetwood Mac's song Landslide? I was gonna try to play that, but two of our members definitely demonstrated a landslide in the re-election, and Dr. Shoemaker, I don't know, he just kind of squeaked by.
It was a landslide, yeah.
So Stevie Nicks sang it, I don't know, 30 years ago, but none of my committees met, so you lucked out.
Wow, that's very lucky. Thank you, Dr. Bonebrake. Mrs. Boley, are you ready, Mrs. Boley? Are you?
I was going over our check minutes, so anything I forget, you two can fill in, all right?
That sounds great.
Yeah. So very exciting news for Pine Ridge. They got connected to our network. I'm sure that I didn't state that quite right because sometimes I feel like the discussion is using language I don't know. But they are connected and that's exciting to get them connected with us and not being a standalone. We got the joint ticketing system in place for IT and building maintenance. And so that's a really exciting piece to have. It should really make us much more efficient. Still working on the policy piece, and that should be coming around pretty quickly, I bet, because they've been working on it for a bit. I wanted to thank you, Reiner. All I could think of was Todd. I just, public schools, sometimes we don't think of ourselves as a business. And we are at a size where we're a business. And our technology is gotten to a business level. And you have come in and tried to bring us up to that business level. And it has been a lot of work. And sitting on the committee has made me realize we weren't keeping up with how much we were exploding in technology. And I appreciate your eye on that, the direction that we need to go. I'm pretty sure it's, you feel like your hair is on fire most of the time. But I love how you're bringing us forward and making us accountable and being where we need to be as such a large technology company as we are now, users. So thank you for that. I'll let you guys fill in any more, but I'm not done.
Keep going.
Thank you. I wanted to thank Ms. Strenathan for everything she's done for our district. Same idea. You've come in with new eyes, looked at our situation, and I wish you were able to stay longer, but we wish you Godspeed in your next journey. But we thank you for what direction you have open the door for us to be looking at. So we appreciate that. Yeah. I'm sorry to see you go. Topeka High School had a market day. And if you didn't get a chance to get over there and buy lunch, it was an amazing situation. So Mr. Morris sets up a situation where kids have to make a business plan. They have to decide what they want to sell at market day. They have to figure out how much they're going to have to spend to stay in business long enough to get through both of the lunch hours at Topeka High, plus odd and strange people who wander through like myself. And they were all able to tell me why they chose the business they were, because I was just going around interviewing them. And, you know, what were their costs to run this business, and where did they hit where they started to make a profit? Was it in the first lunch period? Were they still waiting for the second lunch period? And would they like to do something, you know, be an entrepreneur and open their own business? And some of them said, yes, this really made them think about what they could do in business. And I had a delicious lunch for like $5. Do that, McDonald's. So it was just really, really an interesting day interviewing those students. And then the all district orchestra. Many of us were there, and to hear the students put on a performance that, I don't have a good music ear, but it sounded perfect to me. I didn't hear anything go wrong. When I said that to Mr. Reynolds, he goes, well, it was really good. So he must have heard something, but the students really stepped up and had a beautiful performance there. I want to thank all of our music instructors in high school, our orchestra instructors, for what they did. In the state of Kansas is now thinking of changing our math like they did reading to explicit math instead of discovery math. And they're putting a panel together to develop this structure, and they found a pool of money to train our teachers, I guess. That's their plan. And I don't know if we had all heard that, but that's going to be a change in our math. I'm thinking, what did we spend money on? Because now they're going to change it on us again, probably without the 7-year period, but they're thinking of doing that at this stage. There's a lot of talk of it. I'm the president of KPERC, Kansas Parents Information Resource Center. And at the meeting last night, they were talking about a 9th grade tracker in the United States, and how this 9th grade tracker tracks students all the way through high school. So it's a national base. But there were schools that, like in Oregon, that have taken this 9th grade tracker and just really have poured a lot of resources into their 9th grade students, a wraparound system in 9th grade, because you can track almost dropout rate from students that are not doing well in school in 9th grade. If they fail like one class, it just exponentially raises their thought of dropping out of high school. And so I thought it might be something that we could look into. It sounded really interesting. Jane Groff was the one that was sharing that with me. So, to get more information, you might go that direction. And I just thought that sounded really interesting. When I think about our academies in our district, I'm thinking of the 9th grade academy at Highland Park High School. That model could just be so successful for our 9th graders across the district, possibly. And anyway, I'm done now. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Ms.
Appreciate it, President.
Yes. Mr. Tatum.
So thank you, Mr. President. There was Dr. Bonebrake, you may have forgotten that we actually did have a finance committee meeting yesterday I almost forgot about it, but Dr. Schumacher reminded me at the last minute. And so we missed you there. So we did have that, and as I understand, Mr. Busey is here. We're still going to meet next week for the regular. Okay. So we did have that meeting on Zoom yesterday to talk about some property district property issues that I think were a part of what we approved this evening. So there was that meeting, and then previous to that was the policy committee meeting, and I'm trying to recall. I've slept several times since then, so I'm trying to recall exactly what it was that social media. Mr. Munoz has reminded me, and Mr. Munoz and Mrs. Schmidt, feel free to add in anything else that I'm forgetting from the policy committee meeting. To me, that was the biggest thing that stands out in that meeting was Mrs. Stranathan coming in to tell us personally that she was going to be leaving the district. So that kind of overshadows all the other things that we discussed in that meeting. But yes, we did talk about social media, and of course, a lot of the things that we're working on in the policy committee are things that you're seeing in real time every board meeting as we add more things onto the agenda that have already been worked and kind of elevated from the work that the policy committee is doing. I'm glad that Mrs. Boley and maybe some others were able to go to the Stringposium concert at White Concert Hall last week. I really wanted to be there. It turns out that I greatly overcommitted myself that day, and so I wasn't able to be there as planned, but it sounds like it was a really good experience. So I'm very glad to hear that. I think the last thing that I probably want to mention here, because this actually kind of dovetails with the day-to-day work that I do. I think most people are probably aware of the federal government as a part of apparently the idea is that due to the shutdown of the federal government, things that should have been regular operating processes that may have been unaffected by the shutdown are now being kind of pulled into that. And a part of that is the assistance, the food assistance through the food stamp program that many Americans receive, including many Kansans, including people who are a part of our district. Our families of students in our district are very likely to be affected by this. So I am very pleased that this district has joined with some other local nonprofits and churches to be able to provide meals for those in the Topeka community that have been impacted by this. And it makes me really proud of the work of this district, and just being a part of Mrs. Boley mentioned the wraparound services. This is wraparound also, in which we're seeing ourselves as an integral part of the community in which we reside, and beyond just teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic, which is our critical function. But we also understand that kids aren't going to be able to learn if they don't have food in their bellies, and that the emotional ability to concentrate and to function is also going to be greatly affected if the entire family doesn't have basic amenities like food in which to thrive. So kudos to Topeka Public Schools for being a part of helping to be the solution. And hopefully that can kind of help tide us over until things get back to normal on the federal level again. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Munoz.
It was stated earlier, but as far as part of Equity Council, we will be visiting Shawnee County Juvenile Center on November 12th and 13th. I believe I'll be going on the 13th, but if you haven't been there, I'd encourage you to visit some of our students who are there, who, they're going through some things. And it's precisely at that moment that, we should be walking alongside them, let them know that we're thinking about them and that we'll be rooting for them to through this difficult time. So look into that, reach out to Dr. Anderson, her staff, if that's of interest to you. Policy Committee, Mr. Tatum mentioned our review of a social media policy. We also discussed doing better at making sure that individuals know when these committees get together so that they're available online. And if somebody has an interest in attending that, that information is available to individuals. And that'll be out there. Other than that, I've just been attending lots of middle school sports and high school. I think it was a jazz concert recently, which was awesome. These students, our musicians are amazing, no matter where you go. So, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz. Ms. Schmidt.
All right. As mentioned before, string posium at White Concert Hall with the orchestras of the various high schools. We had an opportunity to attend that. There was representation from the district as well as those high schools had leadership there. It was just phenomenal. Kids coming together and spending one day together practicing for those few hours that the show they put on. So that speaks a lot to the directors of those programs. So kudos to them. This morning, the McCarter kids sang at the national anthem at the State of the Community presentation put on by Greater Topeka. That was phenomenal. Seeing them as they are the future of our community. So it's great that we get to interject them into things like that. There, I did have an opportunity to speak with Jonathan Sublett very briefly. He is part of Fellowship Highcrest and SENT, which is strengthening and equipping neighborhoods together. And he briefly talked about some of the things that they're doing, the resources they are injecting over around Ross and Eisenhower. So I thought maybe there's an opportunity to bring him to one of our future board meetings to have him talk about some of the things they're doing. Not only are they providing funding, they are providing mental health resources for the schools over there. And as they are working on the Pamela Bettis housing project, he mentioned that their idea behind that was to make that opportunity for teachers to reside so that they'd be living in the communities in which they're teaching and serving. So I just think that would be a really good opportunity to bring him to one of our future board meetings to talk about some of that stuff he's doing, because I was not aware of all of that. So that was really interesting. Another question, I don't know if it's a possibility. We did approve as part of the consent agenda, item 14.4, the facility master plan services for facilities and admin. I thought it'd be really neat in the county when we have things like this. Usually the organization will come put on a presentation about what that is going to look like. So we might be doing it a little backwards, but even though we've approved it, if they could come and just give a brief presentation about what the scope of that might look like for USD 501 and help us to be able to future plan as it relates to our facilities, I think that would be very informative for the board. I too want to say that I am very sad that Ms. Stranathan is leaving us. It has been very enjoyable. I always love new lenses coming in and looking at things, because I think, we are creatures of habit by nature, and we tend to go to the paths with the least resistance, and we look through things with our own experiences, and bringing you in with your experience from some other big schools and looking and asking questions about why we're doing things the way we're doing, and have we ever thought about these other opportunities,
has been very helpful. I'm going to miss getting to work through our strategic plan with you because we were just getting started on that. But I wish you the best of luck. And please know that you're always welcome to, keep throwing ideas our way or, come sit in our board meetings. So.
Free.
Dr. Brombrick, I looked up, Landslide came out in 1975. So it's been 50 years. So, and I think that's all I've got.
Thank you. I just have a few things, Ms. Bully. I think you covered technology committee great. And I would agree, Mr. Reinert, you are doing a fantastic job. And when we look at what projects are being completed, what we're working on, what's coming up in the future, I personally am really excited for that board docs upgrade. Let's go. So I appreciate that. I was able to go to ICC last week. Dr. McWilliams talked about his time at Washburn Rural and his time as an educator. So that was very powerful. We were able to touch base with Commissioner Rippon. And then the next day, I think it was maybe that same day. No, it was that same day. I met with Commissioner Mays and we talked about maybe some future partnerships with Shawnee County and some other ways to look at how we do things, something as simple as use of our gym for Parks and Rec, for basketball practice at night, things like that to look. So hopefully that pathway of communication stays open and maybe even getting board presidents, vice presidents, chairs with our Shawnee County schools together once a year, a couple of times a year, just to see if there's things that we're working on, kind of that one voice, but outside of the legislative platform, if there's things that we're working on together. So that was very valuable. Coming up, we will have principal for a day. So I hope people have been able to, that'll be before we meet again. I believe that's on the 18th. The last time I set a date for something, it was the wrong date and I heard it like 5 times, but I do believe that's Tuesday, the 18th. And then I'd agree with Mr. Tatum, food insecurity is something near and dear to the Schumachers and through what we do, our service. And on that note, this Saturday at Jardine, there is our Harvesters Food Pantry from 9 until there's no more cars. But the United Way of Caw Valley, so ours and Lawrence's United Way, they put together a nice resources on ways that people can give time, can give money, can give food. And then it also has a lot of our community resources, such as Scent, who has a food pantry. Our food pantry is on there, Silverbacks. And so it's a nice little list of resources. So I hope that people use this time to reevaluate how we look at hunger and how that affects our families, because we all do know that it's very important.
Dr. Schumacher, if I can mention a couple of things. In talking to Pastor Sublet, I know 2 of their pantry days have been canceled. One of ours at Cap City by Harvesters. Mm-hmm. Harvesters canceled the one at Cap City at Hummer, but they are keeping the Jardine one open. And so we really are looking at how we can collect the information for all of the pantries. So Dr. Graves reached out to Harvesters, because if you always show up to a particular pantry and it's closed, you might not just know where to go, especially if you're walking.
Yeah.
So that's going to be posted on our website, the information that we received. And then the social workers met with Mrs. Sharp about the pantry that we have at Quinton Heights is almost empty. It's pretty bare. So based on the most recent need, so now we have a need to refill that. So the thought that we had, Ms. Sharp and I, with Ms. Mills and Dr. Franklin, was to have Thankful Thursdays. So as people, schools, as they show up and they donate throughout the week, on Thursdays, they can make a delivery. They will have their social work interns there 1 to 3 collecting deliveries, as well as the churches will be doing the same as it relates to dropping off on Thursdays. So we hope to keep that replenished. It's one of several pantries. Of course, Ross and others have theirs. So we want to mention that piece. The other item, Dr. Bonebreak, I think this is the song, if I may.
Yes, please.
All right.
There it is. Yes.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, we're celebrating our board and their win. We are also taking a moment to celebrate our team member, Miss Stranathan. Dr. Gray went to go, I was like, okay, where's the certificate? He was like, okay, I'll be right back. So that's why he ducked out. So Miss Stranathan, can you join up here for just a moment? And you all were so trusting. You didn't know her or anything about her other than me saying, here's who we selected and here's our person. And you gave the head nod. And in her few months, we have the facility study and the salary increases, and just she's become a friend and colleague to all of us, and we thank you. So the certificate, normally, if they've been here a year or longer, we have a plaque or something, but the certificate says Topeka Public Schools District recognizes Pamela Stranathan for outstanding support and dedication to Topeka Public Schools. We know, and as she has shared, her mother's health has been paramount, and when you started, she fell, and you still started. And she still stayed with us despite driving hours. So thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you, and we wish you well. And that concludes the few items that we wanted to
Yeah.
add to.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. So we just need a motion to adjourn
So moved.
and a second. And thank you, Mr. Tatum. And everybody raise their hands if they agree. Thank you very much. It's unanimous. Oh, God. There you go. It's adjourned now. I almost forgot.
Like at your, we